humanity, the target population, has the numbers and they don't. And we need to remember that. If they announce that something's going to happen and enough people won't do it, then it's not going to happen. It's unenforceable. And this is why they want to get to the point of connecting the human mind to the human brain to AI, so AI becomes the human mind. So perception, it doesn't have to be manipulated anymore, it comes direct. And so the people in that state won't even think of rebelling. It wouldn't cross their mind, because it's not their mind anymore. But before we reach that point, we have the mind that can choose not to cooperate. And that's what's going to bring it down. It's brought down every tyranny in history. The numbers that say no dictate whether it happens or not. And we've got to understand that and stop just blaming everyone else. We can point the finger at this cult, and we should, and say this is what they're doing and this is why. But it's not the cult that's imposing this. It's the acquiescence of the population that's imposing it. Because if we didn't, they couldn't do it. It was never going to be the majority that brought this down, thank God. Because it's never the majority that bring any tyranny down. The population as a whole might jump on the bandwagon when it's clear that a regime is coming down. But it's the far fewer, the small minority by comparison, that start that momentum that leads to that regime coming down. So we don't need 50% of the population to stop cooperating to bring this to an end. And I'm delighted about that, because I don't think we'll ever get there in current situation of 50% of people that see it. But enormous numbers of people compared with the past do see it. And, it's like the worst thing you can do, or the most dangerous thing you can do, is to put people in a situation where they've got nothing left to lose. Because while people think they've got something left to lose, they will compromise with authority and acquiesce to authority in fear of losing what they feared to lose. But when you've got nothing left to lose, that no matter what the consequences are of standing up to this, they're no worse than the situation you're facing anyway. Well, that's a dangerous time for tyrannies, because that's when people start to do things they wouldn't have done before. And with this rampant inflation and this destruction of the world economic system, which is happening before our eyes, systematically, on purpose, all long planned, is going to put enormous, fantastic numbers of people in a situation where they've got nothing left to lose. And that's going to bring a lot more people to the table than we have now. And that point will decide if this comes down or whether it reaches its goal. It will be decided by the number of people that cease to cooperate with it. Because it really, it is really, what's the solution? Okay, well, find yourself a calculator and put some numbers in. First of all, put 8 billion in, and then take away a tiny fraction of that 8 billion that represents those in full knowledge who are driving this agenda. And now see how many are left. Well, nearly 8 billion, yeah. So there's your solution. But it's not a solution unless great numbers, great swathes of the 8 billion say, I see what's happening and I'm not cooperating. Do this, no. Do that, no. And if enough people say no, then it's over, they can't do it. The other thing I would say to people as well, is, not least in the alternative media, is don't fall for the trick of believing what you want to hear. Beware of people bearing gifts when their history is one of not doing so. And I say that about Elon Musk. This idea that he cares about freedom of speech is a joke. He is running SpaceX, he's fronting it up, it's the cult that owns it. He's running Tesla, which is producing electric driverless cars. They want driverless cars, which are driven by computer. And that can't happen with petrol engines, diesel engines. It happens with electrically driven cars. And the idea of the computer is that at the moment, you get into your car and you drive it where you want. The idea is that the computer is going to drive autonomous cars, and the computer will decide the limits of where you can go and where you can't. That's the whole idea. And he said some years ago that artificial intelligence could be the end of humanity. True, as we know it. And then starts a company called Neuralink to connect the human brain to computers. He's also producing micro homes through Tesla, which have been in my books for years. That was the agenda as part of the control system. Everything he does is advancing the agenda of the cult, and we're supposed to believe that he cares about freedom of speech, which is being deleted by the cult. Once you see anyone as a savior, you've lost the plot. Because if you want to see your savior, get yourself a mirror, and it's looking at you. Beware the words and watch the actions. That's how you judge people.